Connecticut teenager is accusing his high school of blocking access to conservative websites. He's 18 years old, a senior, and he says he made the discovery while researching for a classroom debate on gun control. He says the NRA's website and the state's GOP website were blocked by a firewall, but he had no problem getting onto the state's Democrat site or pages like Moms Demand Action, which is a gun control response after the massacre at Sandy Hook. The school board says it's looking into the issue. Eric, he could be an investigative reporter. I mean, he had evidence. He took pictures of the sites that were blocked, those that were open. Is he making too much of it?
No. I think that's what school's all about, getting both sides of the story, allowing kids, teaching kids to give them the basis to make the decision for themselves. No, both sides need to be fair and balanced, open up both sides. But when he's done with the websites, he should have his parents take a look at the textbooks because they're even more biased than the one-sidedness in the websites.
You know, the National Right to Life's website blocked. Sites for Planned Parenthood and Pro-Choice America accessible. Christianity.com and the Vatican's website blocked. But IslamGuide.com accessible. Kirsten, what's your response to this?
It's so unbelievable. It's the fact that the school hasn't just said flat out this isn't true leads me to believe that this kid is telling the truth, right? Because they would just say, well, we went on the websites and we were able to get to everything. And the idea of somebody actually sitting and taking the time to block these things is pretty incredible.
Well, they say that they hired a filtering website company to do this for them. And they're looking into how they filter.
Would filter all those things, though. Someone would have to manually do that, wouldn't they?
It also said the Blaze.com was blocked. The Blaze reached out to the superintendent, and the superintendent says that we're aware of it. Student brought it to our attention, that we're immediately looking into it, and the district leadership's following up on it. But Kirsten, to your point, there was no denial that this was happening. The superintendent didn't say, oh, I jumped on a computer and I was able to access these websites just fine. Disturbing.
Shady. Shady. They got caught. This was purposeful. They're trying to engage in censorship. It is unacceptable.
Is it illegal?
Rectified immediately.
Is there a legal issue
in my
here?
world, it is illegal because it is bad.
But I mean, to parents, as Eric alluded to, you know, they ought to take a look at some of the other materials that the kids are reading.
I don't think it's illegal. I'm going to go on. I'm guessing that there's nothing that's illegal. The problem is that's what happens when you have a public school, when you have the whole, infrastructure where you can't fire teachers, you can't get upset, you go to PTA meetings, they drag you out if you make too much noise. That's what you get. You get biased teaching, biased access to websites, and biased textbooks.
And Harris, it seems like this happens more with conservatives than liberals, though. You know, when we've been covering right here on the couch some stories where people have been canceled across the country at universities and colleges because of their more conservative views. Are we not as free a society as we think we are?
You know what I'm going to say? If it's happening at this school, probably happening at a lot of schools in this country right now.
Happening elsewhere, but that's why a lot of people like to make other choices for their children so that their minds aren't like poisoned by the selective education that they're getting and the censorship, and that's why they choose to go private or go to responsible charter schools.
Well, the other thing I can say is somebody who's liberal. I grew up in a very liberal household. My parents were, professors. This was the kind of stuff that I was taught was illiberal. This was not liberal behavior, right? To censor, to try to shut down people who are dissenting, to try to close people off from information. It was supposed to be, oh, we're open-minded, we'll let everybody get all the information and make their own decisions. And yet we do keep hearing over and over these stories where it is the liberals who are shutting down just even access to information. I mean, this is just somebody.
And kudos to the kid for coming forward.
And things that you will learn from Kirsten Powers, the word illiberal.
Illiberal.
Something that I had not even.
Not unlike illogical.
Did you teach that word to Bill O'Reilly?
All right.
I will.